listening to the Sneaker Box.
Oh shit alert, Louis clothes, calling when existing, Louboutins and Gucci shows. Well, I guess that goes my Louis shows. More old shit if your role model's a movie role.
Yo, what's up? Detroit is definitely in the building via headphone stereo speakers. This is your main man, the African Caesar. And with another beautiful day to talk about sneakers. And I'm being sarcastic as I say this. This is like the second or third day where it's just been cloudy as fuck here in Detroit. I remember growing up in school, they had the whole, April showers bring May flowers. Like, it's May now. Can we see some bloomage? I'm tired of these clouds. Like, this is on the heels of how many months of snow and cold weather. And, I don't know about anybody that doesn't live in Michigan, but it feels like Michigan has the most bipolar weather. Honestly, I don't know how we don't have tornadoes, because they'll go from hot to cold like nothing. Like, I remember, what was that, a couple weeks ago? It went from like 70 degrees one day and then like 28 degrees like a few days later. And what other place will it have that big of a swing as far as temperature is concerned? It's ridiculous. But anyway, and the only reason I'm frustrated is because there's so many shoes I've been dying to wear. Like, think about it. Like, living here in Michigan, it ain't like living in California or southern states where the weather is consistently warm, right? It might rain and whatnot, but consistently the temperature is relatively the same. Whereas here, we got all four seasons, so I'm not able to wear certain shoes during certain seasons because I don't want to ruin them. Like the snow and salt is going to ruin the outsole of, if it's a clear white outsole, even if it's a white outsole, like getting them dirty and having to keep them clean, like it's just tough. So I pretty much put those away during the winter. So like springtime, I'm excited. Like, bet I can break these out. Like, I get to wear them like 6-7 months out the year. So, so it's a little frustrating living here in Michigan. However, if given a choice, I wouldn't live anywhere else because I do love having all four seasons. Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without snow, to me. Like, I don't know how people do it in the South or out West. I need snow. I need a white Christmas, man. And so, I would miss that part of it. Now, the only time that winter sucks is like really January, February, because there's really nothing to look forward to. Like the whole time the only thing to look forward to is spring. So that makes it even worse. And honestly, the snow wouldn't even be bad if it wasn't for other drivers. Like, that's the worst part about winter. Well, the cold. The cold does suck. Like, being inside your nice warm house, then having to step outside when it's 20 degrees or 19 degrees or, God forbid, below zero, that sucks bad. Or having to wait for your car to warm up, man. Yeah, I remember my starter thing it was broke or whatever, so I had to go like a couple weeks because the dealerships was so busy. Like, I remember it was like a 2-week waiting period just to get something small like that fixed. And going 2 weeks without having that starter and having to sit in my car, man, never again, bro. Never again. So anyway, a lot of things to jump into, but first, let's go through our social media. You can follow us on Twitter at TSB_show. You can follow us on Instagram at @thesneakerbox_show. And you can follow the show on Facebook by looking up the Sneaker Box Radio Show page. And make sure to check into our live chat with the sneaker comments and questions Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're unable to catch us during the live show and you still want to give us your feedback along with your questions and comments, you can always leave us a message on our voicemail hotline at 248-677-1803. Man, there's a couple of conversations I want to get into. One, shout out to the Monday Midsole. Let me start that off. Let me start off the show with that. Shout out to the Monday Midsole, good friends of ours. I want to say, when you think about sneaker podcasts, right? Like way before us was OSD Live, and then they stopped for it. There was like a brief hiatus where there was like nothing, right? And that was kind of the thing that kind of spurred the idea of doing a podcast. Was like, okay, I felt like there was a void, there was like a space that was that needed to be filled, and so while everybody was doing like sneaker reviews and wanting to be a shoe tuber and all that other bullshit, I was like, okay, cool. Well, let's do something different. Let's find a way to kind of make a name for ourselves without trying to battle everybody for position on YouTube. And so we did the whole podcast thing, and we started with Jumpman's Basement, and we grew and grew and grew. And so, um, along the way, you got the Monday Midsole, and you got Talking Kicks, and you got all these other shows that developed um, not long after. And so, you know, especially when we were at SneakerCon, we were traveling heavy, so we saw each other like damn near every month, and hanging out in this city and that city, and spending weekends together. And we used to have our little after parties at our house, which was dope. And that was just a way of getting everybody together and just kicking it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like just having fun, just enjoying each other's company. Um, you develop relationships with these people, friendships and whatnot. And so, anyway, the Monday Midsole, good friends of ours, Buckeye City Soul, Molly Mall, Unboxed, Polos and J's. And then, One Look at Lister used to be on there, but he's retired from sneakers now. Matter of fact, I owe him a phone call just to see how he's doing. Good friend of mine. Anyway, long story short, obviously the Monday Midsole comes on every Mondays. And so they had a good show yesterday. They had a good conversation. They always got good shows and good conversation. But this one in particular, man, because I was all up in the chats yesterday. I was all up in the chats. Now, there's other times, too, where Sean Tompkins, good morning, man. There's other times where I have it playing in the background. I'm not necessarily able to chat, like I might be getting ready for work, or, sometimes I might be wrapping up cooking dinner, depending on what's happening that day. My daughter, she has after school activities, and sometimes we don't even get home till like 7 or 8 in the evening. And so anyway, they were talking about a number of things, and they brought up, there was a number of things I wanted to address that they talked about that I thought was worthy of bringing up. And I might even go on their show. I know they talked about it yesterday, like having me and Sneaker Fetish on there to talk about certain things. But one of the things, there's a couple of things I want to address. One, Polos and J's. First off, shout out to Polos and J's. Shout out to Polos and J's, because that dude was preaching yesterday. I swear to God, while I was watching the show, I at least said hallelujah twice and amen once. Man, he was dropping facts yesterday. Facts with like 3 S's. One of the things he said that was factual was how, black creators don't necessarily get the support that we should. Now I know people gonna say, "Oh, well, look at Tony D. Oh, look at Booker. Look at Bullet. Bullet RC. And look at that. And I'm like, okay, that's like a handful of people. Overall, though, like if you look at the overall landscape, like is one sided. And I said this to somebody, and once again, I know I might get tagged with being racist because God forbid a black person points out the disparity, but this is my motto. Like, we get to create culture, and then other people get to profit from it. That's what it feels like. And, you look at the batch of people that came out initially when it came to doing this whole podcast thing, and not one of these brands, not one of these labels wanted to deal with us, but guess who they propped up? We don't, you know what I'm saying? And so you do feel some type of way. And I'm with Paulo. Like, I ain't about to beg for nobody's subscribers. I'm not about to beg for nobody to follow me. I'm not about to beg I do that at the beginning of the show where I say, hey, this is where you can find us, but I'm not about to beg you. I'm not about to force you to do it. I'm not about to put a proverbial gun in your head. If you're going to follow us, you can follow us. And if you're not, you're not. I'm cool with that because I'm confident in what I'm doing. And, I know, look, it's not about how many people follow you. It's about who's following you. And that's what I'm primarily focused on. And so, I felt them on that, you know. Like, you got too many people in this community that talk, but then when it comes to actually supporting, like I notice it, but I ain't losing no sleep over it either. So that's where I'm at. But anyway, it was something else he said too. I think Buckeye was talking out his ass, which is a rare occurrence. Like Buckeye is a very intelligent person, man. One of my good friends in sneakers, as a matter of fact, even though he's from Ohio. But yeah, like I mean, he usually is talking with some sense, and he was all over the place yesterday. He was all over the place yesterday. I think I said something to the effect of he's missing the forest for the trees because I think he said something to the effect of because they were talking about New Balance and how they were kind of killing it now, and which is to be expected, right? Like everybody has their moments. Like it's ebbs and flows to this shit. It's ups and downs, and so they were talking about how New Balance is killing it and yada yada yada. And somehow he came to the conclusion, or at least he speculated, or maybe he was just throwing it out there as like some type of theory that maybe the shareholders who sit on the board for Nike, who also own shares for New Balance, and in some way is trying to steer customers in that direction. And I'm like, no. Because here's the thing about shareholders, right? Shareholders just want their money. Now, how you go about getting their money is one thing, right? As long as you're not embarrassing the company to the point where it's destructive or counterproductive, right? They could care less. Like, not the CEOs and high executives, they do their walkthroughs, they have their meetings, and they show off what they're doing and whatever. But all the shareholders really care about is how does this benefit me, right? And so they're not making decisions. The only time they make a decision is if, like, an executive or a CEO has been making bad decisions to the point where they're losing money. That's when they'll make a decision. That decision is usually getting rid of somebody. But they're not making business decisions. They're not directing anything, right? Shareholders don't do that. So, to assume that Nike, or to even float out there that Nike is somehow, like, it was ridiculous. Listen, Nike might be one of the most arrogant companies. And I say that with all due respect. I mean, they're number one. I mean, they're the Michael Jordan of sneaker brands. No pun intended. So you expect some arrogance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be good. You can't be that good for this long and not have a level of arrogance. Which makes it hard to have conversations with certain folk because when you're that good, you don't think you have any flaws, And so, but with that being said, Nike, deservedly so, has a level of arrogance. I mean, they made over $17 billion last year. Billions, like 17 times over. Like, so, but Nike in no way, shape, or form is looking to benefit anybody else other than Nike, Converse, and Jordan Brand. And that's because they own the last two. That's it. Like, any speculation to anything other than that is just ridiculous. They are not looking to care about with New Balance. Like, they see New Balance as a threat. I mean, New Balance, the fifth largest sneaker brand in the country, which isn't nothing to sneeze at. However, they ain't nowhere. There's a huge gulf between New Balance and Nike. Huge gulf. There's a lot of real estate between those two brands as far as rankings are concerned. So, yeah. But at the same time, Nike sees everybody as competition. They don't care how small you are. And they're not looking to help out nobody. Now, if they own New Balance, yeah, but they don't. So, yeah, they not. No. I thought that was ridiculous. I was laughing I was laughing to myself because listen. here's the thing. And 8 years ago, I probably would have been co-signing his foolishness because I didn't know any better. But the more I know about the industry and the more you talk to people at the brands and the more you find out things, the more some of these hot takes sound ridiculous. Like there's a lot of hot takes. I was laughing. Matter of fact, I was laughing at this with Sneaker Fetish not too long ago, where we were kind of talking about like some of the stuff we see like on social media as far as commentary, and it's like, if y'all only knew, no, y'all so far off. But shout out to Polos and Jays because he kind of kept that conversation grounded. Ain't no kind of, he did keep it grounded. Pointing out like, look, if it wasn't for these collaborations, like, because here's the thing about people often get caught up in the collaborations and they miss, once again, this is why I mean the forest for the trees, right? Because you see all the hype shit, but the hype shit isn't what makes them money. Hype shit is what gets your attention, but it gets your attention, but what keeps your attention is the product behind the hype shit, the product behind the collaborations. And this is where Nike is king at, because yeah, you can talk about the Travis Scotts and all that other bullshit, but if you look at the top 10 sellers annually, it ain't none of that. You might see like one Air Jordan on there. Like all these Jordan retros that y'all think y'all see, like one of them might make it on a top 10 list of sellers. I would say about 8 out of the 10 shoes on that list are shoes you ain't even heard of. You couldn't even point out in the lineup. And I think sometimes we get so immersed in our own culture that we think is bigger than what it is. And this is why sometimes I have to like think about what I say or look back on a conversation I've had on the show and be like, Because like I said, we get so caught up in what we call sneaker culture that we fail to realize that in the grand scheme of things, it's a niche. It's a niche market, and Nike understands this. But they also understand that we kind of direct the traffic, right? So once again, we create that hype. And I've always given the analogy, right? Like stores often implement sales as means to create traffic into the store, right? They put things on sale like 50% or, buy 2 for 1 or whatever it is, right? To entice you to come into the store. The sale is just meant to get you in the store. They're hoping that once you get into the store, you fuck around and buy the product. Yeah, you could buy, 2 jars of Miracle Whip for $1, and that's what got you in the store. But they're hoping that once you get there, you see the frozen pizzas, you see the snacks, you see the drinks, you remember, oh shit, I need eggs. Oh shit, I need milk, or I need cheese. Or they're hoping that as you walk through the store, you see other things that interest you, or you are reminded of things that you also need while you're there. So you end up buying more than just what you came for. You end up buying more than just what's on sale. And that's how collaborations work, or that's how these hype products work is, okay, that's meant to get you in the store, but what keeps you in the store, or what you end up walking out of the store with, is other things, just the hype shit. And they use the hype to kind of direct you to other product. This is why Gigantor 38, what's up, man? Shout out to the chat right now. This is why, like, I use as an example the Travis Scott ones, right? Hype shoe. Everybody wanted it. Not everybody was able to get a pair. And what happened a few months later? You get the Mocha ones, right? And this is not by accident, because anybody that knows this, it takes about 18 to 24 months for a shoe to come out from concept to retail. So the fact that it followed it not that long after means that it was already on the board. It was in their plans to drop that. And what their plan is to take the hype from that shoe and then navigate it towards a shoe like the Mocha, where it's close enough to be, you know what I'm saying? Like that shoe is close enough to pass off. You know what I'm saying? Like it has like residual hype, if you get what I'm saying. And they do this all the time. And what people need to realize is that now at this point, Nike brand basically sells itself, right? This is why you don't hardly see any commercials. This is why you don't hardly see any advertisements like they used to, right? Because they had to fight for your attention. They had to fight for your money. But Nike has become such a big brand. It's so synonymous as far as sneakers are concerned, as far as footwear. It's a luxury item, and that's how they see themselves. They see themselves as a luxury brand. They see themselves as a more affordable luxury brand because you still got like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, all the other shit. But, and I'm talking strictly at retail, right? Now we could talk about the resale market all day, but strictly at retail, they're a more affordable luxury item because you get the same social status that you would with any of those other brands, right? And they understand this. This is why they're going more direct to consumer because they see themselves more of a brand now. This is why they're not telling stories like they used to because they don't feel like they have to. They can just throw a swoosh on the shoe. And you know what? They're right. Now, as a sneakerhead, I would love for them to go back to the way they used to do things. Right? I would love for them to put effort into the shoe that they used to. I would love for them to tell the same, or at least have the same love of storytelling that they used to. But when you get to a point like where they're at now currently, where anything with your logo on it sells, you're going to slack. Because there's no incentive to try hard. There's no incentive to put in max effort when you can sell on half effort. If you can put just 50% of your effort into something and still have it sell like hotcakes, that's what they're going to do. And they don't do it all the time, right? There's releases that they put, you could tell, it's like, oh shit, they put effort into this. But it ain't like it used to be, right? Where you felt like, yo, like we're getting the best of the best, right? There are definite releases where it's like, okay, they phoned this one in. But they understand that though, because we've created the hype. We've created the hype. And so the rest of the world sees that. And they want a piece of that too. Like I was having this like I think Buck, I said it last night, like, well, why do they make stuff limited? Well, that's obvious, right? The more limited something is, the more hype and demand there is for that product. So that when you can't get your hands on that product, you want something close to that. All right, I'm gonna take the next best thing. Or they can just re-release it a couple years later and there's still a demand for it because they couldn't get it the first time. Like I was talking to Sneaker Fetish about this, and like, you know, over this weekend you had the Navy 13s, you had the Dornbecker collection, and then you had the Kobe's, right? I guarantee you people that missed out on both the Dornbecker and the Kobe's circle back to get those 13s. Because at this point, we're addicted. We are fiends for sneakers. Let's be honest about this shit. Because we talk all this shit about, oh, man, this ain't fair. Oh, man, it's some bullshit. And we turn right back around and give them our money. That's why Nike's not going to change. This is why business as usual is going to be their mantra. Because until you tell them otherwise, not with your mouth, but with your wallet, they're going to continue to do, because they got you hooked. They have you addicted. All this complaining ain't changing nothing. I mean, I know I complain too, but I got a show to do, and I'm feel like, you know, I'm speaking for y'all. And I say the things that most people other wouldn't say in my position. But collectively, they hear the complaints. They hear it. But then they see the money. So, you know, which one has more substance? Which one has more gravity to it? Right? I'm looking at the dollar signs. Because complaining, making an Instagram post, making a Facebook post, making a Twitter post, you know, doesn't require as much sacrifice and effort as going online and purchasing a product, or going into a store and purchasing a product. Right? Now, Nike did come out last year, or was it the year before, where they came out and said, oh, you know, people are moving away, sneakers are gentrified, right? Okay. Now, we don't know the exact statistics that they were using, but obviously it was enough for them to feel some type of way. That's what gets their attention. When the numbers drop, when the sales drop, when the engagements drop, that's what they notice. So if you're going to continue to go on the sneakers app, engage with it, if you're going to continue to buy the product only to complain, But you know what I'm saying? And they know well enough to know you're not going to stop sneakers cold turkey. You're just not. Like, they look at the resale market and they're like, yo, like, y'all, this is why, like, I mean, part of it is inflation. I'm not going to sit there and say inflation doesn't play a part in it. But they see y'all spending $500 on a shoe plus. And they're like, all right, you think you think they're going to let the resale market make all the money? No. All right, cool. Well, we're just going to do a price hike. Okay, them Jordans went from $190, now they $220. That's only a $30 price hike, and people are like bitching and complaining. But Nike's like, wait a minute, y'all just spent $300. We dropped the same shoe 5 years ago, and it's reselling for $300, right? So yeah, we raised the price, but it's a lot cheaper than $300. $220 is still cheaper than $300. Nike's, man, I'm telling you, like I said, once you see the inner workings of this thing, it's almost like the Matrix. You start to see the numbers, right? You don't even see people no more. You don't even see surroundings anymore. You just see a bunch of green zeros and ones moving in like different directions, right? Like that's what it feels like sometimes. Like you start to see what the game is. Gigantor, he says, maybe off topic, I'm just walking in, but I don't get groceries without a list. I'm with you on that. That's what I need to do. I'm a horrible shopper. I go to the grocery store, I am straight up going off the top of my head. And a lot of times I end up spending way more money than I probably should have because I do shop with my eyes. Like I'll walk out with like 5 boxes of cereal, even though it's like just me and my daughter here. Like I get all types of stuff that I don't need because it looks good. Like, ooh, this look good. Even if it's something I ain't even tried, it's like, ooh, this look good. I want to try it. So yeah, IG's Nike's biggest commercial. Nah, these blogs are Nike's biggest commercial. Think about it. These blogs do a lot of the marketing for Nike or for any of these brands because the way you generate traffic is by posting things people want or need, right? Having a release day calendar. That benefits the blog because now that creates traffic to their website, which allows them to get advertisements, right? Because you want to be known as the most efficient purveyor of release dates. You want to be known as the first to have this information or the first to have this story. So everybody's jockeying for position in that regard when it comes to the sneaker blogs. And so that benefits the brands because now it's like, okay, well, we're just going to dangle this carrot and, we're going to drop this photo and everybody's going to go fucking nuts over it. We'll go crazy over it. Now, I'm not saying social media doesn't have a role in this either because it does. It is a huge factor in there as well. I'm not saying Instagram doesn't play a role either, but I'm just saying, like, even if you took away social media, these blogs would be right there to pick up the slack. These YouTubers would be right there to pick up the slack. Like I remember quick strikes and stuff like that, or shock drops. Like it's supposed to be called a shock drop. Like the word shock is in there. Why? Because you didn't see it coming, right? But now you have people who are like thoroughly invested to finding out when there's going to be a potential shock drop to the fucking time. I remember one time, Dunks was on the show, and he told us, what shoe was this? I can't remember which shoe it was, but it was like at 11:04 on the dot. I mean, he had it to the to the minute, not 11 o'clock, but 11:04, and sure as shit, it was there, and we were able to get the shoe because he was on top of it or whatever. Like, so when you have people who have taken it upon themselves to come up with this information so that they can be, for whatever reason, whether it's clout, whether it's they're trying to establish themselves, trying to establish a name, trying to establish a business or a brand, whatever the reasons are, when you have people who are invested in doing that type of research on their own, the brands all they got to do is just sit back and count the money. So you can hold a conversation with sneaker fetish. You're truly a wise and patient man. No, listen, listen. I'm gonna tell y'all something about sneaker fetish. That man knows what he's talking about. If y'all don't trust anything else I say, that man knows what he's talking about. Here's the thing. And this is a heavy, and this is what I tell him all the time too. Especially when you're becoming a name or a personality that people know, is that there's always someone out there to discredit you, right? Because not everybody's happy for your success. There are some people who are just like, that should be me. And I'm not saying this about you, Jack Antor. I'm just saying in general that, there's always going to be some type of rumor. There's always going to be some type of hot take. Now, for whatever reason, I've been able to avoid that. And I think, honestly, I just think I don't know what it is, honestly. I can tell you all day what I think it is. I don't know if it's because I'm too brash, is that I'm too bombastic. I just think that for most people, they see me as a real, authentic person. That I'm not this is my personality. Especially if you ever see me in public or you see me in person. Like, the same Caesar you get on the show is the same Caesar you get anywhere else. Like, I'm no different. And I'm not trying to be anything. I just am. Right? When I speak on things, I think people, especially at this point now too, because a lot of things I've said have come to fruition. But I think when I speak on things, I'm able to articulate it in a way that you can at least understand it, even if you don't agree with it. And like I said, I've been right about so many things. It's like, yo, you can't help but be like, you got to know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, no, sneaker fetish. I mean, that's a good dude. Now, whether or not, and it's the thing though, like, me and him we might not necessarily agree on everything. We two different people with two different points of views. Like, there's no way we can agree on everything. But I respect the fact that this man does his due diligence and that he does whatever before he talks on a particular topic. He does his research and he does his due diligence. He does his homework, and I respect the hell out of that because there's a lot of people out here talking reckless who talking about things they know nothing about. And this is why I said it on Twitter. Maybe I haven't said it on the show, but I said it on Twitter where people say stuff that sounds good, and that's enough for some people. But then there's other people that actually think about what was said, and once you start thinking about it, that whole statement or that whole post or the whole comment falls apart, right? And so, and he's one of those dudes where he deep dives into shit, like he really does, like. And so, I have nothing but the utmost respect. Like, the only time I disagree with him was with the Nightwing thing, because I felt like, because I know Nightwing as well, and I know him to be a great guy. There's no maliciousness in him whatsoever, and it was over the whole Brotherhood one thing, where sneaker fetish. I believe he's in a fraternity or associated with one, and so he felt some type of way because I think Nightwing threw up a hand gesture. But to me, that was just kind of, to me, and mind you, I'm not in a fraternity. I've never been associated with one, never been in one. So, and maybe my point of view is skewed. However, it is my point of view. And my point of view was this trivial. Like, if you know somebody didn't mean something by something, there's no point of getting upset by it. Right? Now, I think they got upset because they felt like he doubled down on it once he was brought to his attention. But once again, knowing Nightwing, like, he didn't mean nothing to buy it. And it was, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's in no way, shape, or form was he trying to infer, insinuate, or perpetrate that he was ever in a fraternity. Right? Now, if that's to me is something totally different. Now, if he was trying to act like he was in a fraternity, but he really wasn't, that's one thing. But if he's going over this shoe and he throws up a hand gesture in passing in his video, that's forgivable, right? It's not worth me getting upset about, right? It just isn't. Now, me growing up in the hood and being around people who were fraternities and sororities, I knew enough to not do certain things. Still didn't get it. I just didn't want to do certain things because I didn't feel like having that smoke. I just didn't feel like having those discussions. I didn't feel like having those arguments. So I avoided a lot of those things just because I just didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to waste my energy on those things. And so Nightwing then, obviously, I mean, he grew up similar. We both grew up, not well off, And we couldn't afford certain things when we was younger and all this other stuff. But he didn't grow up in the same environment as I did, or a lot of us did. So there are things that he might not be aware of, and that's okay. You don't punish people for that shit. And so that's the only thing. And I'm not even saying Sneaker Fetish punished him or whatever. I just, what I'm saying, I know Nightwing, I think, and I don't, Sneaker Fetish didn't do this, but somebody else did, where they kind of made it a race thing, and that's where I totally disagree. Nightwing, if you know him, is one of the best guys out here. He is by far the best YouTuber out here, hands down, no question. So I will always go to bat for him, and he's a friend. And what type of friend would I be if I didn't defend a friend, especially when I know their character? Right? So that's the only thing I disagree with, but I didn't villainize either one of them. I didn't villainize Nightwing, and I didn't villainize Sneaker Fetish. This is a different point of view. We just had a different take, on it. But once again, Sneaker Fetish is by far one of the best brothers out here. Like I will go to bat for him as well and his character. And you very rarely will hear me go to bat for anybody's character. Like seriously, like when's the last time you heard me go to bat for somebody's character outside of this show? Because they wouldn't be on the show if I had a question about their character. Let me see. Giganta, personally, that guy's a goofy amongst my circle. Not hating him as a person, but his takes come off as flame stoking. I give him an ounce of credit though because we have the same name. But here's the thing though: is he flame stoking or is he speaking truth though? Like pointing out a fact is not flame stoking, is it? Pointing out, digging up some truth, as inconvenient as it might be for some folk. Is that flame stoking? Like I know he got some smoke. He brought up the things about Cool Kai. Like, is that flame stoking or is that speaking facts? And that, mind you, he didn't bring up anything. Everything he brought up was all related to the conversation centered around sneakers. It wasn't like this dude, went to go interview some childhood friends and you know what I'm saying, and dug up, dirt on his family or nothing. This was all related to shoes. And that's what he does. I mean, that's what a journalist does. It's all about accountability. And this is why I had the conversation about gatekeeping early on, because I wanted to jump over that hurdle from jump, where there should be a level of gatekeeping, because that's how you keep accountability in the industry and in the culture and in the community. There needs to be accountability. Otherwise, things just run amok. Now, having said that, I will also acknowledge that there are some people who take that job way too seriously. There's levels to this. Striking that balance between protecting the culture and being a police state is two different things, right? Two different things. Everybody should be allowed to participate. Everybody should be allowed to have fun. However, that doesn't mean that everything should just fly. We got to the point now where it's okay to wear knockoffs. Man, 10 years ago, man, you be shamed out of any sneaker event you was at. Get that shit out of here. Now, and I get it, because because getting the shoes are so hard now that it's just like, you know what, I give up. Fine. I'll wear the knockoffs. I'll wear the UAs. I'll wear the variants, the counterfeits, whatever you want to call them. That's where we're at now. So, I don't have a problem calling that shit out. And maybe that's what it is too. Maybe people feel like I pay my dues. Like I've been doing this for over 8 years. So maybe that's some part of it too, where people look, and people seem like, yo, he the same smoke I give to these other people, I've given to these brands. Y'all hear how I talk about these issues when I talk about, whatever issue it is, whether it's at Nike, Adidas, wherever, Under Armour. I had that same conversation, and y'all seen, I posted it. I posted the receipts, not all of them, but some of it, just to kind of give people an idea of these are the conversations I'm having internally. So it ain't just me behind a microphone talking my shit. I take that same energy directly to the source. I showed the back and forth I had with the CEO, with John Donahoe at Nike. I I showed the emails that I gotten from employees at Adidas for thanking me for talking about certain things that they go through. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we've had designers and stuff come on our show, so that you've seen that relationship. You've seen us at these brands. You've seen us, or at least you've seen me, get seated. Like, you know what I'm saying? So there's a relationship there. So you know that I might be privy to some things that most people might not be privy to. And I'm not saying I know everything. I don't at all. Like anybody that tells you they know everything about everything is lying. But I think that's obvious. Let me see. Absolute. Calling yourself Mr. Bombastic is hilarious. I get on a tangent. I get on a roll sometimes. Sometimes there's truth, but his comments on what made blah 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 shoe popular, and his Kai Geiger comments kind of corn. Hey, I respect that. I mean, that's your opinion. I can't do nothing but respect that. Disagree, but I respect it. Because like I said, I think we've gotten to the point now where like everything is justified now. And I often tell people, like when you talk about like the John Geigers and the Cool Kais, like imagine you had a brand and somebody who was just blatantly ripping off your shit. You would feel some type of way. Most people don't care because they're not that guy. It's not their shit being ripped off. If you were a musician and somebody's ripping off your music, if you were a designer and somebody's ripping off your designs and making money off of your shit, now you had to do all the hard work of being creative enough and different enough to come up with a product to introduce to the market that you didn't get sued over, and then you're going to have somebody take advantage of that hard work and benefit from your hard work for free, and you not get a dime from it, you would feel some type of way about it. But because it's a Jordan or whatever the shoe is, Air Force One, it's easy to be detached from it. It's easy to not care because it's like, okay. And my whole thing is like I expect designers to design. I expect creatives to be creative. If the only thing you're being creative about is the colorway, then everybody, that's why I always say, like, anybody that's made a Nike ID is creative then. Because that requires you coming up with colors and color blocking it in a certain way. If you've ever done a bespoke, you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's the line at? Like, just because you color in a coloring book doesn't make you a painter. It doesn't make you an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's levels to this. And so there's people that draw and there's people that trace. And I respect the people that draw freehand. But, and I don't even know how I got in that conversation. Gigantor, but there's no hate. If you can vouch for someone, is one more notch for them on my belt because I respect you. Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And that's all it is to me, is just a respect thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can disagree all day because we ain't got to agree on everything. That's the problem I have with people, is that, at least, and this is in general, is like, if we disagree on one thing, we got to, like, you're a bad person. It's like, we're not going to agree on everything. We're not going to agree on 100% of the things that could be out there to discuss. We're going to disagree on things. That's fine. As long as we can have a coherent conversation where you can articulate your point and I can articulate my point, and we can walk away some level of understanding. Right? That's fine. That's it. That's all I ask. Now, if you want to sort of people that can't articulate shit and you just have an opinion just for the sake of having an opinion, and you want those type of people that, despite any factual basis, you're going to hold on to whatever belief you have, then those are the people I can't talk to. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk to you at that point. It's just like, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to go nowhere. We're having an emotional argument, not a discussion. And so, but no, shout out to Gigantor, man. Like, I respect that a lot. Speaking of Kai, I know the Bull, would there ever be a mischief lawsuit discussion with updates today? Oh, we can talk about that now. So it went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. And if you notice, when I even talked about it in that story, where I said he was trying to have it both ways, where he's trying to be artistic, but at the same time build a brand or shoe brand around it. Like, you can't have it both ways. If you're building a shoe brand, that means you're going commercial. And if that's the case, then you can't take somebody else's trademark and profit off of it. Like, that's That's the whole point of having a trademark. What's the point of having a trademark if anybody can just take your shit and make a product off of it? It makes absolutely no sense. But the problem is Mischief, John, this kind of bleeds into them. They're able to say shit, or at least they think they can. They can come out and say shit that most of their sycophants and their fans just kind of run with. Like, oh, well, because here's the thing. Just because somebody can point out a similarity between two things does not make them inherently similar, right? Especially when there's more differences than similarities. I gave this analogy before. Ice and steam are both water, but they are two different things. Put ice into a steam engine and see how far you get. Put steam inside a refrigerator and see how long your food lasts. Two different things. They're both water, though, and that's the thing. These people are able to point to the fact that they're both water, and people just like, oh, well, they're the same thing. They interact with their environment the same way because they're both water. Like, no. Those are two different things. Yes, they have the similarity of being water, but they are two different things. And you have to treat them as such in order to get whatever it is you're trying to get out of it, right? You don't put steam in the refrigerator, you put ice in the refrigerator because you're trying to conserve your food. You put steam into an engine because that creates pressure. That's what makes that steam engine move. Like, come on, man. But that's the problem, though. People are able to get you to they get you to focus on the 3% or the 20% of similarity while getting you to ignore the 80 and 97% that are different. If something has more differences than similarities, then you have to treat it as such. Now, if it has more similarities than differences, then you can make the connection. Then you can make the analogies. But a lot of them, man, yeah. But yeah, this Mischief thing, like, it's just, it was too obvious. It's like, I can't, like, no, save your money on lawyers. Save your time. I would like to think that the people in Mischief are smart people. I would like to think, because they are creative. Like, the shoe was dope. This has nothing to do with the shoe. The shoe was dope. Now, would I wear them? No, but I can acknowledge that they were pretty dope. It was unique. And I like to think they are smart people. The fuck did you think you was going to do? Did you really think you was going to win this case? Now, I don't think the case is over, but this is like one major win for Vans. It's a step in that direction, right? What? You wasted time, resources, and money fighting a case you know goddamn well you weren't going to win. For what? But this is part of the thing. This is part of the strategy, though, right? Like, part of the strategy is getting sued for things so they can get attention, right? If you think about it, all the news articles that we've heard about as far as Mischief, it involves them getting sued by a brand. And that's part of the marketing strategy, right? Controversy sells. Getting your names in the paper. However you got to do it. Right? That's the end game. That's the goal. Let me see. Edric Bark, congrats on the Kobe's, man. I didn't get access, but glad some real ones got them. Yeah, so I'm nervous though. Here's the thing about them Kobe's, is that I'm like hella nervous because they're being shipped through LaserShip, and we talked about this story last week, where LaserShip ain't known for being the most honorable when it comes to delivering packages. Hold on 1 second. I need to get my charger. This might be the most unprofessional show ever. Like, who pauses a show just to get their charger? But yeah, LaserShip supposed supposed to be. Matter of fact, I tweeted something yesterday because one of the things, there's certain red flags that people get, like when it's when when a couple of days go by and it says, awaiting package pickup, that's usually meaning that the shipping company itself has not gotten a package from the vendor, which normally isn't a thing. But seeing that it's Laser Ship and it was a couple days that went by before it finally updated, you get this ominous feeling like, oh, here we go with the bullshit. like, here we go. And so it says it's supposed to be here tomorrow. We'll see. I'm going to be on it. I'm telling you, I even tweeted it. Like, if I don't get my shoes, if the delivery driver does some bullshit where, it pulls up just so the GPS tracks them being in front of my location, but he never gets out and actually delivers my package, we're going to have a problem. Because, as a matter of fact, I got the 36s, the Air Jordan 36s. They just came yesterday. And the box looked like it had been opened, like somebody had peeked into it to see what was in there. And so, yeah, I'm wondering if that's going to happen with this box too. And if I don't get what I'm supposed to get, I'm showing up to Romulus, because I think that's where the warehouse is. I'm showing up to Romulus, I'm going to act a fool, and then I'm heading out to Beaverton. And I'm going to act a fool there as well. So I'm giving everybody fair warning. I'm going to act a fool. So, Giganto Laser Ship is the right name for the company because the scope is out if my Kobe's went missing. Bruh, me and you both, bruh. We we're gonna be a 2-man army. Like, for real. I swear to God. Man, no. Let me not get my shoes. There's gonna be some problems. Jesse Christ. I'm so glad we don't have Laser Ship in Louisiana, man. Telling you, man. Laser Ship. I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know what Nike. I mean, I know what they were thinking. Probably trying to save money as far as shipping and whatnot, and save some money. Like, I know, man. We had this conversation last week where somebody was talking about Benjamin Kicks, and it was like, well, they might settle him just so they could save money, because instead of shipping to this many stores, they only have to ship to a couple of stores because they gave most of the inventory to him. And I'm like, dog, that's a blip in the radar. If they're going to save money, they're going to save money. They're not going to save a couple thousand. They're going to save millions, right? They're not going to just sell to him just so they could save, a couple $1,000s. Ain't nobody going to notice that shit. Talking about a $17 billion company. You talking about $1,000, a couple $1,000. Get the fuck out of here. Buckeye City Soul, what's up? What's up? I was talking about you earlier, man. Definitely talking about you earlier, man. Good peoples. Like I was saying, he was one of my good friends. I don't know what nonsense you was talking about yesterday, though. Oh, man. Because I was sitting there just like, boy, what? Like, man, turn his mic off. He drunk. But no, thank you for coming through, though, man. Definitely appreciate you. And, I need everybody to do this, too. Like, if you subscribe to this channel and follow our show, do the same thing for the Monday Minute. So, I think we need to do a better job of shouting out each other as well, and supporting each other. I think that's where it starts, supporting each other, and then I think that kind of spreads out throughout the community. They see us supporting each other, and then they get behind that. The rising tide raises all the boats. So, but yeah, devil's advocate. You are the devil's advocate. I swear to God, that might be the one infuriating thing about talking to him, because it's the cool thing and infuriating thing talking to Buckeye, right? Because he is a smart dude, which makes it frustrating, right? Because, we'd be having a certain conversation, and like I said, he does try to play devil's advocate, and just to offer a different point of view, which is appreciated. But sometimes there is no other point of view, bro. It is what it is. but he's a smart dude, so he's able to form an argument that doesn't necessarily, and you know what I'm saying, like on the surface, it's not a dumb argument. Like it's like, okay, like the fact that you was able to make that argument off the top of your head is impressive. However, you know what I'm saying? That's where but nah, like seriously though, like y'all know me enough to know that I ain't just hanging out with everybody, man. Like iron sharpens iron. He is definitely Iron Man, and you know, I am definitely fortunate to have friends like him in the sneaker community. Because, man, the stories I hear about certain folk, it's like, god damn, it's like, nah, like I can't be cool with nobody. Like hearing some of these stories, it's like fuck, like. And I'm hearing it like after the fact, like after I befriended them and after we done hung out and chatted, you know, enough on the phone or wherever. And it's like, damn it. Like, so now I got to create distance. You know what I'm saying? It's like shit. So, but yeah, so it's wild out here, man. Like, this is why, like, I have a lot of associates. I have a lot of associates. I know a lot of people, but I don't consider everybody to be a friend. Buckeye is definitely one of those friends. So, yeah, like there's very few people, like I said, that I will vouch for. He's another one of them that I will vouch for. I will go, if anybody came to me talking reckless, and we're gonna have an argument. Because nah, because what's the point of being a friend if you're just gonna let anybody talk bad about your friend? Like that's an associate. You know what I'm saying? Like I know you. I'm cool with you, but not enough to fight for you. You know, that's just where I'm at. So, and I forgot to do this too, man. God damn it. Getting into this conversation. Shout out to the chat, by the way, man, because this has made it fun. Damn, there was a lot of shoes that came out today too. Oh, first of which, the Air Jordan Retro 1 Stash. I know everybody's been dying to get that shoe. You know, the one with the fanny pack in the back. This is fucking stupid. Honestly, and I know the brands, and I just had a conversation with somebody last week. I'm not going to say from where, but they was like, man, you are not conservative with your criticism. And I'm like, okay, well, two things. One, I got to do a show. I got to be somewhat entertaining. And two, it is fucking frustrating sometimes, and that's what comes out. And also, too, I feel like I'm speaking for the community on some things. And I know the difference between my personal opinion and what the community feels. For instance, like Yeezys, I know that's a personal opinion. I know that's not shared with the community, right? This is why I don't go as hard on those as like something like the Black History Month collection, where I know for a fact that we all are like collectively like, yo, fuck this shit. You know, this Jordan 1 Stash, I'm gonna put it in that category of the Black History Month. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing? What is this? Who asked for this? This shoe sat on the table at Nike headquarters. Listen, before a shoe comes out, it has to go through a set of protocols to get approval before it finally releases. It isn't a case of some designer going rogue and throwing these on the sneakers app before anybody can notice. This shoe had to get the okay from a lot of people, and this shoe sat on the table and got multiple okays from who? I want names. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Like, this is ridiculous. I don't even, man. Who is this for? I have pockets. I would like to think if I was going camping, I had a backpack. I would like to think I had other things that I could stash my shit in other than a fanny pack attached to the back of my shoe. What are we doing here? It's not even discreet. That's the first place I would look if I suspect somebody hiding something strange. If I see you, if I'm a TSA worker and I see you coming through my airport wearing that shit, I'm pulling you to the side and I'm checking that shit. You could be a priest. You could be wearing a priest outfit. If anything, that probably make you look more suspicious, right? Because those two things just don't fit, right? You wearing a priest uniform and you wearing those shoes. So yeah, I'm definitely pulling you. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. I'm pulling you over because I'm just assuming that there's something in there illegal that you don't want me to see. Because you're probably thinking, okay, this is so obvious that who would be dumb enough to put something in there? You. That would be my thought. Like, you're dumb enough. I'm pulling you to the side. You're gonna, like, you know how they say innocent to prove guilty? Nah, fuck that. You're a guilty to prove innocent in this case. Like, real talk. Nike needs to mess with DHL that deliver your damn package with text every 10 minutes and will drop that box off. See, the stigma with DHL is, at least from me, is that every fake that I've ever heard of has been shipped through DHL. So I don't know. In my mind, they're just like the official shipping partners of like counterfeit shoes everywhere. Like, that's just, I cannot separate it. All right, so if I get something from DHL, I am hella nervous. I'm like, I don't know. I might have to pull a black light on this. What up, Sneaker Shop Talk? Kryptonite Souls, what's up? I don't get the hype for that shoe. Which shoe we talking about? Because I'm talking about the Stash Jordan 1. Is there hype around that shoe? I'm telling you right now, if there's hype around this shoe, I am done with sneakers. I will end this show, and I will never buy another shoe again. I'm done. I can't take it no more. I'm done. Please tell me. Please tell me. Swear to God, there's no hype around this shoe. Having said that, buy what you like. And if you are interested in buying the shoe, it's available on the Sneakers app. I'm pretty sure it didn't sell out. What is it, 1014? There's still a full size right there. I would be surprised if this shoe sold out. Also, we got the Nike Retro GTS Border Blue, Maca Orange. Okay. Like, some shoes are just, like, they're not trash, right? They just, Also available on the Sneakers app. You got the Dark Shadow Special Edition Converse Turbo Weapon. Comes in 2 different colorways, Egret and Clay. Also available in the Sneakers app. You got the Nike LeBron 19 Low Black University Red and White. That is available on the Nike app, which is different. 2 different things. There's the Nike app and then there's the Sneakers app. Sneakers app is more for the hype releases, and the Nike app is more for everybody else. And then lastly, and this dropped at 3 a.m. Now, I mentioned it yesterday because I wanted to give you a heads up, because Adidas has this thing where they release shoes at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You got the Parlay for the Ocean Special Edition Adidas ZX 8000 Off-White, White Tint, and Cloud White. Just fucking white, man. Like, is there really a difference between those shades of white? I guess, if they came up with a name for it, I guess. Scanning for other shoes that might drop. Oh, and this is what I might go after, too. So, Reebok has the La Casa de Papel collection. That drops at midnight tomorrow. Okay, never mind. So we good. We good. Oh, wait, no. Fuck, that's midnight. So that's the night then. I don't know if that's the night or tomorrow night. Midnight. Yeah, that's the night. So at midnight tonight, the Reebok La Casa de Papel collection, I want to say it's the classic leather. You know, Reebok ain't giving us a lot, but when they do, it's pretty nice. And so definitely want to give that a look. That drops at midnight tonight, Eastern Standard Time at Reebok.com. Let me look at this chat again. Absolute said there's an ass for every seat. That's true. Sneaker Shop Talk. How does a shoe with the damn fanny pack get through the necessary levels of approval to see a release? Man, I'm telling you. I don't know what the drug testing policy is at Nike, but apparently they're not enforcing it. Absolute, do you think they'll try to kill the Jordan 1 hype intentionally? Why? They're making money off of it. They're making too much money. As a matter of fact, somebody asked me yesterday, what's the shoe? It's like that gray, white, and black Jordan 1 that they got coming out. Basic as hell. Like, listen, you don't have to. Listen, I know Jordan's, they're a cash cow as of now because everybody, like, they sell out. Everybody seems to want a Jordan 1. But you don't have to drop. Like, it just feels like y'all just dropping Jordan 1s for the sake of dropping Jordan 1s, which is why we're getting some of these weird-ass colorways that make no sense. Like, it's just, there's other shoes you can drop. Like, it's hard for me to imagine that Jordan, the signature line alone, has 36 models, not counting lows, right? And you're pumping out the same shoe. Like, dude, there's other shoes you could drop. Can we get a 17? Can we get some 18s? Can we get some 16s? Shit, I know I might be the only one, but can we get some 15s? Like, there's other shoes you could, you know, it doesn't just have to be 1s and 11s all the time. Like, it could be other shoes. It's okay. It's okay, man. Shit. Um, let me see. Kryptonite Souls got exclusive access on the Kobe's and couldn't check out because the app kept freezing and running into errors during payment. Tried paying at least 10 times before they sold out. Yeah, I had the same issue. As a matter of fact, I said this on the show yesterday where I wasn't even trying to get the shoe. Like, I didn't even want to waste any emotional energy in this shoe because I just assumed I was gonna get the L, so why bother? And then at 10, because I remember it was exactly at 10:04, I got the notification that I had exclusive access, which to me, this is 4 minutes after 10. That's an eternity when it comes to like a sneaker release, right? I go and I get the shoes, or I go on there, see that I got exclusive access. I go to my bank account because I know damn well I ain't got enough for my checking. I'm trying to be responsible, so I purposely keep my money in the savings because I have to manually transfer it over. And so, just trying to, like I said, be responsible. Like, I have to think about what I'm doing in order to go through that whole process. And is it worth it, right? For this shoe, yes. So, transfer the necessary funds over. I go back to the sneakers app, and it says sold out. And I was almost like, well, fuck that. Well, it's a wrap on that. But as you scroll down, you can still see usually when it's sold out, like the sizes are in gray. But most of the sizes were still in bold black, meaning that you can still click on it and stuff. So I'm like, okay. So I click on my size, and it goes to checkout, but it's doing that buffering thing. And then it finally, the page comes up with like my shipping and everything, and I had to put in the last digits of my security code or whatever. I do that. It buffers. Then like some error thing comes up. I do that about 2 or 3 more times. Same thing. The 4th time, I do it, and it's doing this buffer thing. Like, it didn't even, the little checkout thing didn't even pop up. And I was just like, man, well, fuck this. I'm done. And I put my phone down, and I walked away, and then I heard my phone vibrate. I go back to it thinking that somebody might have texted me or something. And I see I get a notification that says order confirmed. I'm like, order confirmed? And I go to look, and it's the Kobe's. I'm like, the fuck? Like, I was like, yo, like, man, all right. This would happen on a Sunday, right? And I ain't even had to go to church. So, yeah. But there was a lot of people that I know that saw sold out and just immediately quit or just gave up. And there was a lot of people that had issues trying to check out. So, yeah, like, I get it. That sucks. Gigantor, I got most of the Converse Rick stuff. Wow, but they work if you are into the Rick looks. And I will say this, as much shit as I talk about, certain shoes, and it's all in fun, right? This is my own personal opinion. However, I do like when people buy what they like because it doesn't matter what I have to say about it. If you like it, that's great. That's the only thing that matters. My opinion matters none when it comes to what you spend your money on. If you think that stuff is dope, and I love that though, because that's what creates individuality. That's what makes the sneaker community unique. That's what makes it worth it. That's what I love. Like, I hate when I go to a sneaker event and everybody's wearing the same shoe because everybody has the same thing in mind. I'm going to wear the most exclusive shit that I own in my closet. Well, when you go to a sneaker event, everybody has the same mindset, right? And so you got to, and then when you think about it, a sneaker event is like sneaker culture condensed, right? Because when you're in public, not everybody's going to have that shoe. On a normal day, not everybody, even if they have that shoe, they're not going to be wearing that shoe. So when you go out in public and you go out in the wild, you might be the only motherfucker wearing that shoe. However, when you go to a sneaker event, it's condensed. Everybody that has that shoe is going to wear it. Everybody there is into sneakers. So it ain't just, general public. So, yeah, you're going to see a million of the same shoes and it gets boring as hell. So, yeah, it would be fun if people had individuality again and they were able to do, you know what? I find this shoe to be dope. I'm wearing this. It's cool. Like, I love it. Like, and then sometimes, too, you'll see a shoe, you'll see the product pictures, but then you see it on foot and it gives it a whole different look. Some sneakers actually look better on foot. So, But no, I those are the things I appreciate though. Where we at? Turbo Weapon might be a pass though. I said all that just to read his nice comment. No, I agree with you. The Turbo Weapon might be a pass. Definitely a pass for me. I mean, even it didn't even come my size, and I thank him for that. Sneaker shop talk. Buy what you like, but if you wear sneakers with a fanny pack, prepare to get roasted. Yeah, some things you just know. Some things are just inherently trash. Like it doesn't require a debate. We just know. Unless you're talking to Buckeye City, so in which case he's gonna play devil's advocate. Let me see. Absolute. Maybe it's their way of bringing more attention to the other silhouettes. Possibly. That is possible. We talked about that earlier. Giganta 38, classic leather legacy with a cream midsole and a bunch of JJJs, and you got a sellout. Oh, boy. Jordan 1's becoming the Chuck Taylor of Jordan brand. Kryptonite soles, you ain't never lied, bro. You ain't never lied, man. Edric Bar, I'm just about to butcher your name. But, yes, bring the 17s back. They just keep releasing the same models. I agree, man. Y'all got so much diversity when it comes to silhouettes, and y'all just harp on the same ones. Like, he goes on and say we're tired of the 1, 3s, 4s, and 11s. Man, imagine your favorite song. Think about your favorite song, right? Imagine if you had to listen to it in rotation over and over and over again. After a while, it no longer is your favorite song because you're tired of it, right? Just because it's your favorite song doesn't mean you want to hear it all the time. And just because that might be some of our favorite sneakers or favorite silhouettes as far as the Jordan line is concerned, does not mean that we're trying to see that shoe every release or every Saturday. There's some other shit too. Now I get it. The 17s might not be as popular. So, release them in limited quantities. That's your MO anyway. Like there was there any doubt that they were gonna just make 1 million pairs of Air Jordan 17s? Like they're not. They're gonna make them hella limited. So do that. At least somebody's getting them. I want 15s for Caesars to see a 15 in the 15. That's a lot of 15s. Do the math on that. 15 times 15 times 15. Yeah, I mean, listen, which is weird to me too. But by the way, though, I can't take anybody seriously that will wear Yeezys, especially the other models like the 700s and all these other weird ass shoes that he got y'all wearing, and y'all want to shit in the 15s. I refuse to. I refuse to hear any Air Jordan 15 slander from somebody who wear these weird ass Yeezys. I refuse to. You get to not participate in this conversation at all. Look at what you're wearing. Especially, can I say this too? For all these people all of a sudden wearing these masks because Kanye's wearing it, you're an idiot. I don't care. I don't care how you feel about what I just said. You're an idiot. If all it took is for Kanye to get you to do something stupid, like y'all look dumb as fuck. It's not even cold. Like, that's okay if it's freezing out and you're trying to protect your face. If you're wearing that as a fashion statement and you're trying to have a conversation, I saw the game. This motherfucker did a whole interview on Drink Champs wearing a mask. I'm like, you know how dumb you look? I don't care how much money you got. You look stupid as fuck. Kanye looks stupid as fuck. The game looks dumb as fuck. And they are millionaires. If you're broke or if you're just some normal person walking around the streets wearing that shit, you look really dumb as fuck. They just look dumb as fuck. You look really dumb as fuck. Like, honestly, there's no other way. Like, I'm all out of niceness for some subjects. Some subjects I just have no words for other than this is stupid as shit. Or you look dumb as fuck. That shit looks dumb as fuck. You don't look cool at all. You look like a follower. You look like somebody that, ooh, Kanye did it. I want to do it too. Like, I don't even know. Even when I was a kid, I was not that much of a follower. I get it. Kids do dumb shit. They follow their heroes. I ain't even do that shit. Like, that would be like me being like, and I had long hair when I was younger. I'd be like, ooh, Michael Jordan bald. I want to be bald too. That's stupid. That's dumb. Be yourself. Please. Like, if something is dope, that's one thing, right? Ain't nothing dope. You're wearing a ski mask. If you didn't have the thought inkling to wear a ski mask before, then don't wear it now. If you didn't think ski masks were cool, don't wear that shit now. If the only reason they're cool to you is because Kanye wore them, that is fucking stupid. Now, if he introduced something new to the marketplace that you've never seen before and you think it's cool, that's one thing. That's fine. Like if you Yeezys, right? Like if you genuinely like Yeezys, fine. But don't ski mask has been around here for a pretty long time. I like to think for at least 100 years, if not longer. It's nothing new. Like you've seen this. At no point in time did you think, man, I should wear this as a fashion statement. I'm just saying, like, come on, man. There's no other. Sometimes some things are just dumb, and we need to call it as such. Sorry. Matter of fact, I'm not sorry, but sorry. Where we at? Gigantor. I love the 18s with the blue midsole. Yeah, those are dope. Sneaker Shop Talk. Black Cement 3 retros. 4 Cherrywood 16s. Yo, them Cherrywood 16s, man. It might be one of the sexiest Jordans. Whew, boy. And the Chutneys. Both of them, man. I don't know why they want retro those, but to me, that's like an instant seller. Smokey Bear LaFleur, still waiting for a release date on the Airplane 1 home or away since last year. Yeah, like with the logistics of the supply chains and everything like that, things are just chaotic. I think I said, I think on last week's or maybe yesterday's show I was talking on, I went to New York and we were flying in. There was like at least 100 ships just floating there, and the pilot, he was like, if you look out your window and you can see the plane. I mean, you can see the boats out there, and they've been waiting there for weeks. They're still waiting to dock. It was like shit, like damn, like for real. So ain't no telling what's on those ships as far as shipments are concerned. So, Gigantor, I've never seen a Yeezy in a size larger than a 13. Now that I think about it, no, trust me, I've had people approach me about. Like, I've actually had people wanting to hook me up with some Yeezys, and I'm just like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. Gigantor. I mean, honestly, look, panties are probably my second favorite signature line. Like, I finally had to give LeBron the nod as far as, like, the second best signature line because, 19 shoes in. Like, Penny only has, 6 models? 7 if you want to cut the phone posits. But LeBron 19 shoes in, like just on longevity, he's going to get that, right? Got too many models that are dope for you not to give him that. So, but pennies, man, like he has no misses whatsoever when it comes to silhouettes. So, yeah. And I honestly wish they would have continued the line, but beggars can be choosers. But yeah, this crazy though. Like, I mean, I still got my penny ones. I don't know when they dropped last, but they still look pretty clean. Like the white is still white. It's not like that off white where it looks dingy. Let's see, Smokey Bear LaFleur, size 15, Yacht Gang. Yes, sir. Kids are easily influenced, but there's no excuse for adults. Yeah, and I see grown ass men doing. I'm like, come on, man. You got to have more sense than that shit. Like, what is impressive about that? Like, what part of that is cool? Let me hide my face and look like I just came from a bank robbery. Like, I'm too cute for all that, bro. Like, I want you to see my face. That's the money maker. That's what that's the main attraction. Like, oh, I look like hiding that. Anyway, there's actually some sneaker news out here. And shout out to the chat, man. I'm telling y'all are giving me life this morning because Lord knows I was tired and I didn't get a chance to make my coffee. So I appreciate y'all. Number of things. Chance the Rapper and Dan Life are raffling off custom pair of Air Jordan KOs. An article written by Joey Park for Nice Kicks. Through Chance the Rapper's nonprofit Social Works and partnership with artist Dan Life, the duo are raffling off a one-of-one custom pair of Air Jordan 1 KOs, with the proceeds going to Kids of the Kingdom. Kids of the Kingdom is a faith-based, choice-based summer day camp that provides leadership training, recreation, socialization, and helps campers build ownership, social and emotional learning, agency, civic engagement, and growth academically, behaviorally, and socially. Okay, that's a lot. It seems like more of a TED Talk or a work retreat more than a more than a day camp. you know, so like they have workshops. Like that's not a day camp. Like day camp is like we have like summer activities. We play basketball and then we go, canoeing and all this other shit. This dude got you doing workshops to gain skills. Like I'm 9. you know what I'm saying? So I ain't trying to do all that. I got time for that. Once your childhood is gone, it's gone. Let's enjoy this shit. I'm interested to know what is choice based though. Like they specifically said, like they added it in there, like faith based. I understand what that is, right? But what is choice based? I don't know what that means. What does that imply? The custom Air Jordan 1 KO is completely bedazzled with around 1,600 crystals set by hand by Dan himself. White crystals make the base of the sneaker with teal used on overlays and swoosh. Sworks, SWORKS, is stitched on the left heel. Chance's signature is on the heel pull tab. JTMK is on the right heel, and Dan's signature is on that right heel pull tab. White midsole and a yellow outsole features a Social Works compass in a neighborhood map of Chicago. You can enter the raffle now at spotfund.com. That's spot, S-P-O-T, fund, F-U-N-D.com. You have until May 14th. A winner will be selected at random. So, yeah, if you want to bedazzle Air Jordan 1 KO, shoot your shot. Absolute Nike definitely pulled them airbag Jordan 1s off of sneakers. There's no way those sold out. Yeah, Nike was like, yeah, this is embarrassing. They probably pulled them off, said sold out, and watch. There's about to be an influx of Jordan 1 stashes at like a local outlet. Yeah, I man, sometimes you look at a shoe and it's like, what was y'all thinking? Who was this for? What was y'all thinking? And I swear to God, I bet not see more pairs of that than I've seen of the Dornbeckers because I'm still salty about that release. Because the one release I wanted to get was the LeBron 19s, and they made, from what I saw, now this, you never know what these people be posting because you don't know what their sources are. But from what I saw, there was like 88 pairs of LeBron 19 Dornbeckers. Like the fuck, 88 pairs. There's like what 3.3 billion people in America, and you only made 88 pairs in the size. Man, what? But I bet you it was more than 88 pairs of these Jordan 1 stashes. Bet you money on that. I don't understand. Gigantor said, "Come on, Chance, you pulling the Billie Eilish with this KO choice." Hey, you said it, no. And speaking of Billie Eilish, man, so like I said earlier, how a shoe looks better. Sometimes a shoe can look better on foot. Sometimes a shoe can look worse. And I seen somebody actually wearing them. Somebody posted a picture, and I saw them like in real life on somebody's foot, and I was like, ugh. They just look, yeah. Like I guess if Moon Knight wore sneakers, he would wear that. Like I just, ugh. Yeah, I'm flabbergasted. I just don't. What are you supposed to do with that? What are you supposed to do with that shoe? You know what? At least you tried to do something different. That's me trying to find this. This is me being Buckeye City Saw right now. I'm trying to be the devil's advocate. At least she tried to do something different. At least she brought something different to the shoe. Doesn't mean that the execution was well, but at least she tried to do something different. She ain't just do the off-white method of just releasing a regular Jordan Retro with like a few minor changes. Look at the exposed foam. Look how it's deconstructed. Voila, collaboration. Like, no, that's not. Look, I put holes in it. Collaboration. No, that's not. Let me stop. Speaking of which, this has nothing to do with well, it kind of has. Like, so I don't know which Kardashian it was, but she wore that dumbass wedding dress. And this kind of goes along to my point of just because something is a brand name doesn't make it dope automatically. Like, if that dress she wore was a Martha Stewart dress, would she wear it? Probably not. But because it's an off-white, oh my God, it's dope. Oh my God, it's like, no. Make these brands earn your money. We complain all day about why the brands do certain things, but yet we don't hold them accountable. Make them earn your money. Quit just throwing money at brands because they have a name. Just because it says it's off-white doesn't make it inherently dope. Just because it's Nike does not make it inherently dope. Just because it's a Yeezy does not make it inherently dope. You know what makes it dope? Being dope. See, the product used to make the name for some of these brands. But then it gets to a point where that it like flips, where now, yeah, the product was the selling point for that company. Now the name is the selling point. The product used to be, it had to be good in order for that company to make its name, to establish itself within the marketplace. And then at some point, the name becomes so big to where the product didn't even matter no more. Now the name sells the product as opposed to the product selling the name. It is fascinating to watch. It is. It's like, wow, okay. They just reach a point and they just use that what's the word? Man. I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of, but it is fascinating to watch how that happens, how that shift happens. Sneaker Shop Talk, 88 pair of rounds to average of 1.7 pairs per state for the entire country. Yeah. Man, now I'm more mad. Gigantor, I give Billy credit because at least years ago she mentioned she actually liked the 15. Yeah, I mean, of all the models, I mean, because she could have just gave us a Billy. I mean, she did give us a Billie Eilish one KO. But she could have used one of the usual suspects, but she didn't. You know, she actually went outside the box. So once again, and I give her some credit. I mean, she still seems boring and bland, and I couldn't imagine hanging out with her. Like, she probably has a living room with no TV. She just like stares at the walls to see like what shadows she can see, like what animals she can make out of the shadows as the sun sets. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just seems boring to me. Like, I don't think I would have any fun with her whatsoever. I mean, granted, we're probably, I don't know how old she is, but I'm pretty sure there's at least 10 years of age difference there. So I don't know exactly what we could do that we would both find fun, but well, I could think of one thing. But anyway, you can now try on Pumas with Snapchat's new AR shopping feature. An article written by Cheyenne Falcon for Nice Kicks. Snapchat has unveiled the new shopping feature, Dress Up, an interactive AR tool which allows you to virtually try on items through an engaging shopping experience. To access Dress Up, you can find it underneath Snapchat's Lens Explorer tab. The lenses let you instantly overlay items on your body to get an idea of how things will look before you purchase. Snapchat also debuted new software that benefits its AR image processing and 3D Asset Manager. Both tools will help businesses create AR content for Snapchat's product detail pages. These tools will be released alongside the new Snapchat Camera Kit, which allows brands to integrate catalogs of their products for more virtual try-ons. Puma is Snapchat's first global partner to utilize the new AR technology. To try it out, open the Snapchat at Try it out. Open the Snapchat app and scroll through Puma's range of sneakers using the Snapchat Camera Kit. Yeah. Now that I can appreciate. Like I feel like that was like the first of all, I feel like somebody else did this before. I can't remember who. Where like you could see the shoes on your feet before you bought them, just to see, or maybe that was just some type of filter. I don't know, but I feel like that was like the genesis of NFTs, where it's just like you can own this virtual shoe, and it's like you can post pictures of you wearing this virtual shoe, which looks dumb as fuck. It's like we all know you don't really own that shoe. That shoe doesn't really exist outside of your phone. So like, but people are paying thousands of dollars for it. You know, like I think somebody spent like $140,000 on a Nike NFT sneaker, which Well, congratulations. You just spent a house on a shoe. You look like a dumbass. I don't care how much money you got. If you spend that much money on a shoe, you are a jackass. You are a dumbass, and you are unworthy of having whatever money you have. Honestly, like that's just dumb. 140,000. Oh boy. Whew, 140. I wish I would spend 140,000. I'm not spending 1,400 on a shoe, let alone 140,000. That is just dumb. And think about what you could have did with 140,000. Think about how much work it took you to accumulate 140,000, and how you just blew all of that on. Now, I'm granted, I'm guessing that this person has millions of dollars, but still, 140,000 is still 140,000. Shit, you could have changed somebody's life for 140,000. Gigantor, I can't wait for Nike to have that feature. Now we can at least try on shoes we can't cop from the comfort of our. That's true. That's true. Plus Adidas does that currently with their app. You can literally do it now with it. Okay, so with the Confirmed app or the Adidas app, which one? Speaking of which, the Confirmed app. Now, I don't buy nearly as many Adidas shoes as I do Nike, primarily because the shoes I will actually want, they don't make in my size. But the Confirmed app, I know there's like a ranking system where I guess based on the amount of purchases, you reach a higher tier or something. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna look into that. Maybe we'll discuss that for tomorrow's show. Because I'm just trying to think, like, do they have enough products for me to like invest in something like that? So off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything. Like they have a lot of stuff that is cool, but it's like not stuff I need to have. Like if I had to make a list every week of sneakers that I wanted, right? There's a lot of shoes on there that I would want, but they would be like lower down that list, meaning that there's other priority, like as far as purchases, as far as sneakers, there's other sneakers that I would rather have over those. And so, and there's only so much, I'm only gonna spend so much money. I ain't about to go broke over these shoes. So would that even be a feasible thing for me to participate in? So, it said it's the Adidas app. Okay, cool. Gigantor said that Dunks is the guy who bought the NFT sneaker, waiting for him to go half on Twitter with Elon. I wouldn't be surprised, man. I would not surprise me. Matter of fact, it was funny because he was laughing at me because I didn't use the correct term for NFT currency or whatever it's called. Like the article that I sourced called it Ether, but I guess it's called Ethereum, or I'm not even sure I'm saying that right, but I don't care. Like that's how many fucks I give about NFT. It's like I don't even care enough to pronounce the shit right. And so I get it, but I don't. I get that it makes people money. I get the idea behind it. I just don't think it's reasonably feasible long term. I just think everybody's jumping on it because everybody's looking for the next gold rush. And so they're trying to and I feel like some people are trying to make this a thing instead of, like, if you got to try that hard to make it a thing, then it's not really a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got to try that hard to make somebody love you, they don't really love you. Edric says, I feel like Adidas, you could wait for the sale. Hey, for certain sizes, that's the thing. For a size 15, man, ain't no such thing as waiting. You got to jump on that shit. So that's usually what I do, too. Like, usually I buy something and then, I get it in hand, and if I don't like it, then I'll return it. Now, that's easier for a Nike product because there's multiple Nike locations here in Michigan or in the Metro Detroit area, and I'm not even sure there's one Adidas location here, which is strange. But knowing what I know about Nike and direct to consumer, that's not surprising. And I got a direct to consumer article here that's basically talking about that Nike plans to go. the next step for the direct to consumer plan is to go or to have direct to consumer be 60% of the sales. Now I get to that tomorrow because I want to elaborate on more of that. But yeah, this is why I keep telling people direct to consumer is not a half measure. It is a full measure. Today is 60%. Tomorrow is going to be 70. Not literally, but you know what I mean. You know, it is a slow process towards 100%. So why wait for that to happen to then develop a plan? Have that plan ready to go. But you got a lot of people like Foot Locker who are just like, nope, they need us. Like, yeah, do they? Do they though? Like, tell me why. Tell me why they need you. And when you say need, like, tell me, like, not want you around, but need you. What can you do for them that they can't do for themselves? What benefit do you bring to them that they would not otherwise have? That's what you got to ask yourself. What happens if they lose you? And to be honest, I'm like, nothing. But I get Nike's approach. Like, they don't want to shock the market. They don't want to, and then, that, going 100% direct to consumer requires certain things to be in place. And I think that's what they're actively doing. And so, they've been building up new locations so that they have physical retail spaces. So, if you're a Foot Locker, it's like, and they don't need multiple locations. Like I know here in Detroit, there's like multiple Foot Locker locations. Nike only theoretically needs one. Now they have one in Detroit, one about 30, 40 minutes outside of Detroit, north and west. And I want to say there's one other location, but maybe not. Oh yeah, there's another one about an hour and a half north. So you got 4 locations within an hour of each other, right? So, and I'm pretty sure in other major cities they have multiple. I know in Chicago they have multiple locations. I know in LA they got multiple locations. I know definitely in New York they got multiple locations. And then in the other areas where it doesn't make as much sense to have multiple locations, but at least have one location, and that's all they pretty much need. Because like I said, people do more shopping online. Physical retail is a good way to still introduce your product to market because, people get to interact with it tangibly as opposed to just online, But I just do not understand. The problem is some people are too smart for their own good, right? Especially when they consider you to be, for lack of a better phrase, nobody, right? I went to Harvard for this. I got degrees for this shit. Yeah, but sometimes you could be so big, sometimes you could be so high yourself that you don't see some of these moving parts. Like sometimes you could be so tall you don't notice the ants. And that's where you get messed up. Sometimes you could be so big that you don't notice the small things, and it'd be those small things that undo you because you're too big to pivot in the way that you need to counteract the changes that are happening in the marketplace. And a lot of people don't, especially in the industry, don't do that. They get in their feelings. And you can also remember too, a lot of people, some of their jobs are like unnecessary, but they gotta justify it somehow. They do more to justify their job instead of ensuring that their job exists, right? Because if you did what you were supposed to, then that in itself justifies your job because you are now a necessity. You have a purpose. But if you were just there, just taking up space, and then when somebody asks you, like, what do you do again? And then you come up with all these weird ass, numbers and figures that mean nothing, right? Like, because most of the time when people throw numbers at you, and they usually do it out of context, right? Like, for instance, that, I work at Chrysler, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, we only had, like, so for instance, they had, obviously they want the line to continue moving, and if they have any downtime, that's a problem, right? And I remember one time we had this issue where like every 20 minutes the line would go down, and we had to go down there and reset it and whatever, and that would take like 5 minutes, right? So over an entire shift, that adds up, right? 5 minutes every 20 minutes, that adds up. But upper management was able to, what's the word, sell it as just 5 minutes instead of an accumulative problem, right? Because like over a shift, like an 8-hour shift, every 20 minutes, I don't know what the math is on that, but at a certain point, you know, what, how many, 5 times 12 is at least 60, right? So every 20 minutes, there's 3. So you got 15 minutes times 8. So you're talking about like, what, 120 minutes? So that's 2 hours of downtime. 2 hours of downtime, but yet they were able to sell it as just 5-minute increments, right? Because their bosses, all they saw was 5 minutes. And I remember the next day I came in there and I held the line down for 15 minutes and everybody was wigging out. Like, oh my God, 15 minutes. Because if they over 10 minutes, they gotta, they gotta write a report and all this other shit. And I'm like, dude, think about it. Would you rather be down for 15 minutes and like be rid of this issue? Or would you rather have downtime every 5 minutes every 20 minutes and have over 2 hours of downtime accumulative? And they chose the latter. They chose 5 minutes. And I'm like, dude, if we could take 15 minutes to fix this problem and not have it be an issue again, you have more running time. You get more cars done. But it's all about the framing. It's all about the framework. It's all about the presentation, right? And sometimes, and I'm using that as an analogy to show, like, you could take numbers and frame it in a way that it removes context and just highlights the things you want to highlight. And you can make anything look good. They say numbers don't lie. Well, shit, people do, and they usually use numbers as a way to do it. Like I said, they just remove context. Let's see what this chat is saying. Let's see. Amazon has been teaching these other million billionaires how to go direct to consumer since '99. Exactly. Amazon has that. They have their own ecosystem. They do their own shipping. They do everything internally. Once again, you don't think these brands saw that? Once that becomes a viable means of business, other people follow suit. That's called evolution. Like, things evolve. Once the first company started selling their product online and that became a way of shopping, other people follow suit to the point now where more people shop online than they do in physical retail. This is why malls are dying. That's the perfect example. Malls are dying because nobody had the foresight to see that, hey, this internet thing might be a doozy. So let's find ways to still attract people to the malls. Like I don't know which mall this was. I want to say it was in Dallas, where the bottom levels were malls, but all the upper levels were like condos and stuff. And then they had a skate rink there. They had some type of they had other amenities there to entice you, like obviously restaurants and shopping, but they had like games and movies and all these other things that you could do at one place, right? That made, like, so if you're trying to go out in the night with your family or even on a date night, it made more sense to go there than anywhere else because we can go to the movies and get something to eat all in the same place. We can go play putt-putt, or go-karting and, all this other stuff. So they had it literally was like a one-stop shop. And so even if retail dies, you still have other things that attract you to the mall. And so a lot of these malls didn't do their due diligence. They, once again, they got people that was too smart for their own good, wasn't paying attention to the landscape of shopping, right? What you would think, like, you'll have somebody on staff doing, like, yo, like, just keep an eye on what's happening out there in the world so we can stay on track. We can, so it doesn't, something doesn't happen to where all of a sudden overnight we become obsolete. That's what happened with Blockbuster. I continually use that as an analogy, is that as things evolve, things that were a necessity no longer are. The advent of streaming, nobody's going to physical stores to rent movies. When you don't have to leave your house, that's just dumb. I can rent it through my TV. I can rent it through my phone. And there's no rental fee if I return it late. I don't have to waste gas. I don't have to waste money on gas and, add wear and tear to my car. I don't have the inconvenience of having to go outside and, drive however many miles away. It just is what it is. Like you look at Uber, how that's fucking up like the cab industry. Cab industry probably had it unlocked, then here comes Uber. Now it's like shit. It's like fuck. You got, especially now with the internet, man. You gotta think that somebody's thinking of a way to make things more convenient or easier. And I don't care how safe you feel in an industry, you got to think at some point somebody's looking to make you obsolete. So therefore, you got to keep your head on a swivel, as they used to. I don't know if they still say it, but you got to keep your head on a swivel. Meaning, you got to be aware constantly. Let me see. Gigantor. Phil Jackson started in Oregon. He went to Stanford. It's a business disguised as a running shoe company. You mean Phil Knight? You mean? Kryptonite Souls. Facts. I just got back from visiting New York. I could not find an indoor mall that wasn't permanently closed in Manhattan. Yeah, like a lot of these companies, man, like I said, they feel like there's such necessities to the industry, such necessities to the marketplace that they can't even conceive of a time where they're no longer needed. And then what happens? They're no longer needed. Like then it's just like, eh. Look at these big box stores like Sears and Macy's. Like they were so dominant in the 20th century that I can imagine that they were just like, shh, there's no way we're not here another 100 years. And Sears, are there any Sears anywhere? Like Kmart was one of the first grocery stores, but one of the biggest grocery stores. And they're just closing left and right. If history has taught us anything, is that no country or company is too big to fail. And I wish these companies, especially when you got people that are passionate enough to do their homework and their due diligence for free and have these conversations to bring this to your attention. But as I said earlier, when the company is so successful for so long, they build up a level of arrogance. And that can, is understandable, but at the same time, it can be an undoing. Pride comes before the fall. And a lot of companies, man, I'm telling you, like I said, especially when you don't have the credentials that they think you should have in order to come speak to them. That's why I posted the email I sent to a VP of Foot Locker a couple years ago. Tell them everything that is happening now. I spelled it out. Didn't want to hear it. Then what happened? And here's the funny part. Foot Locker themselves finally came to the conclusion this year. And guess which numbers they were basing that on? The numbers that they based their earnings calls on with their investors and their shareholders, which spelled out that direct-to-consumer is affecting them negatively, it's from 2020, the same year I sent that email. Except it took them 2 years to get that information while I was giving it to them in real time. That's why I laugh at these companies when they talk about the numbers. I'm like, the numbers, half the time y'all get it a year late, sometimes 2 years late. So by the time you realize it, 2 years done passed. You late to the party. And that's enough time for, depending on what you're talking about, that's a pretty long time to wait in an ever-evolving marketplace where things are constantly shifting. Do you want to give the marketplace a 2-year head start before you make a decision, before you pivot, before you shift? I don't know. That seems like a big gamble. That seems like the rolling of a dice to me. But hey, y'all smarter people than me though. You know, like to me, if you're getting outmaneuvered and outthought by somebody who does not have the quote unquote credentials you got, then you got to ask yourself, what good are those credentials? Just saying. Like if you played college ball and went to the league, but yet you got outplayed by somebody who never did either one of those things, then what good is it saying I went to UNC and I played for this? You can't beat that person. That person beat you. It don't matter what, you know what I'm saying? You could have played for the Pistons. You could have played for the Lakers. Is if every time me and you play ball and I beat you, your time with the Lakers don't mean shit. That just means you got the opportunity and I didn't. It wasn't a matter of skill. It was a matter of timing. It was a matter of chance. It was a matter of luck. If anything, it's embarrassing to know that you was an NBA player and anybody off the street could beat you. Same thing with this. It's embarrassing that, y'all got these credentials. You got all this insight and all this other shit. And yet you didn't see what was coming. All right. Them degrees only mean you good at doing homework. It don't mean that you actually have the skills or the wisdom to apply those skills. Let me see. Sneaker Shot Talk. Business is no different from nature. Evolve or die. 100%. Gigantor. Legend has it. Sears still exists in Middle Earth. The last resting spot of the one. Y'all got the jokes today. I love it. Sneaker Shop Talk. It's a company's arrogance. If a company's arrogance blinds them to what's happening, the market always has a way of humbling them. Exactly. This is why I am watching the whole Foot Locker thing. Now, they could be making moves internally that I don't know about, and they, I'll be the last person they would tell. But yeah, like I said, like come out with your own in-house stuff. Focus on apparel. Focus on the companies that still want to do wholesale. But remember that once again, once something becomes the standard, then everybody falls in line. So yeah, you might be able to do the wholesale thing with Reebok and Puma and all these companies, Under Armour right now. But just remember, Nike needed you one time and then they left you. Them other companies can do the same thing. So therefore, utilize them while you can, but build your own shit in-house so that if and when they do decide to leave and do direct-to-consumer as well, which I think is inevitable for most of these brands, then you have your own shit. So when you're dependent on somebody else, you're dependent on somebody else. You're at their whim. Foot Locker is dependent on Nike. Nike is no longer dependent on Foot Locker. It is what it is. That's the shift. They were dependent before because, you know what? We don't want to have to invest in locations. We don't have to invest in overhead. We don't want to have to invest in employees and things that come along with that, right? Like insurance and all this other stuff. We don't want to do all that. We just want to make the products. Therefore, this is a beautiful partnership between us and the retailer. We split the risk. We split the profits. We call it wholesale, right? You pay us up front 50%, and then you get to make the other 50% by selling through. You take on the stress of this logistical on the second half of logistics. You take the risk of all the overhead. You take the risk of selling through, and we take on the risk of production. We take on the risk of shipping it to the country. We take on those risks. And it's a beautiful thing. And then at some point, people realize, you know what? We can do what they do too. And make 100%. Fuck this 50%. We can make 100%. Oh, now we don't have to worry about logistics as much because now people buy more online. So that eliminates the need to have so many store locations and all that overhead. I don't know how many times I got to explain this, but, y'all get it. It's the people at the top that don't. So anyway. Let me see. If a company is arrogant, do you think Foot Locker should have leaned into what they should also lean into what they have in Go if they smart? If they're smart, that was probably the smartest thing they did was get GOAT. Because even if, let's say Nike pulls out, right, 100%, and goes 100% direct to consumer, now you can lean on that. Like the resale market it's going to be here. Now it's going to fluctuate just like any other market, right? It's going to have its highs, it's going to have its lows, but it's going to be here. And you have a longer lifespan with that than you would as a wholesale vendor, I believe. So yeah, I think that was smart on that part, and I think they should lean more into it. Make it so if I'm Foot Locker, I'm utilizing Go. Okay, cool. You know what? For instance, we talk about shipping and how that's a problem, right? You know, it's about laser ship. If you buy something on Go and you can pick it up at a Foot Locker store, that eliminates that problem. Because now, think about it, the truck driver can't just say, I pulled up and delivered that shipment. Because now there's going to be like a log, you know, because there's definitely going to be somebody there to accept that shipment. That's part of their business plan. So if the delivery system is fucking up as far as the deliveries, oh yeah, Foot Locker is going to be on that because that's going to affect their business. See, when it just affects you, nobody cares. But when it affects everybody else, then everybody else cares, right? So if they have enough of those issues where the truck driver mysteriously lost your package and you can't pick it up in store, oh, okay, guess what? Foot Locker is going to find another shipping partner then. That contract, you know, you no longer have that contract with this big company or this big brand, which is valuable to a company like LaserShip. So it benefits them to get this shit together. And it benefits Foot Locker because now, once again, I talk this. See how this comes full circle? What we talked about earlier? I gave the analogy of sales and how sales are meant to get you in store. Because the hope is once you get in store, you see other product that you might want to buy. And you end up buying more than just what you came in there for. Same thing. If I can get you to walk in store, like, you know, let's just say you don't want to deal with the bullshit of like a company like LaserShip saying that they delivered your package only to not see your package delivered, or you worried about somebody swiping it off your front porch, you can have it delivered to the store, right? Where it's safer. What happens? You walk into the store, you might see some shit when you go to the store to pick up your package. You might see some socks. You might see a t-shirt. You know, you might see some other accessories that you might not have thought of had you not walked into the store. And that's the whole game. That's the whole plan. Just off the top of my head right now, I just gave them a business plan. Lean into GOAT. If you buy something on GOAT, you have the option of having to deliver straight to you or in store. In store is safer because you ain't got to worry about nobody taking it off your porch. You ain't got to worry about the delivery guy saying he delivered it when he never got out the truck. And as a company, as a business, who, let's just say you have your own in-house apparel brand, you walk in the store, you see something that might go along with those shoes as far as an outfit. You might see a hat, shirt, whatever. So now you're not just picking up your shoes, but now you're purchasing a shirt. Bam. Now, you multiply that by like 100 times or however many times people come into your store to pick up the package. Now you're creating potential for added business. That's all at the top of my head. I ain't had to go to fucking school for that shit. That's just common sense. You're welcome, Foot Locker. Gigantor. Flex that GOAT muscle phone line. Free game from Caesar over here. Dog, that's not dog. Listen, anybody, look, y'all, some of y'all who grew up in the hood and grew up in the streets, come on, man. You know there's a lot of dudes that were smart, that had business savvy. They just didn't know how to apply it correctly as far as legitimate business. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing: drug dealers are probably some of the best businessmen because they know, dog, they can do the math off the top of their head. They know what makes sense and what doesn't. They just doing it illegally. I mean, some could argue that people who have legitimate business are doing some illegal shit. But point is, they have business savvy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so if you're around it enough, you could pick up on that. Sometimes the streets are probably better education than some of these schools. You know what I'm saying? Experience is probably the best educator of them all. And I put more weight behind what somebody has to say than what their resume has to say. The resume gets you in the door, right? That gets you the interview. But what sticks the interview, what gets you the job is you. And your ability to convince them to hire you or to do business with you. So but that's the thing though. I'm giving all this free game. I should be charging these motherfuckers for this shit. I should. I really should. But, we gotta have something to talk about on the show. So, free game. Like, that to me, that would be, like, I'm telling you, man, that would be my move. If I'm Foot Locker, that's the move. That's the move. Utilize that. Not just utilize it as having, like, another source of income. Create another. See, here's the thing. When you come up with a business plan, right, what do people look for? They look for multiple streams of income, not just one stream, because what if that stream doesn't work? Now you have something else to fall back on. So, yeah, they bought GOAT because that's an added stream of revenue. But you can utilize GOAT to create another stream of revenue by having in-store pickups. Because now you're creating foot traffic. And when you create foot traffic, you create potential for added sales. Nobody's buying product from outside your store. They got to be in the store to buy the product. So the more people you get in the store, the more chances you have to sell them product. Like I said, if you're showing up, I don't know what shoes off the top of my head, but, fuck it. Let's just say those Kobe's, right? Let's just say you got those Kobe's. You paid $4,000 or $5,000 for them, which is ridiculous. They're going for dumbass prices now. Makes absolutely no sense. If you're paying that much, you're a dumbass too, right? Listen, I know you probably really, really wanted those shoes, but the only way the prices are going to go down is if collectively we all say we're not doing this anymore. But as long as there's somebody willing to spend $4,000 on a pair of shoes, resellers are going to sell them for $4,000. Do I agree with it? No. I just know that, trying to appeal to the morality of a reseller is just foolhardy and a waste of time. The only thing they understand is numbers. The only thing they understand is money and math. So fuck it. Let's just go that route. But let's just say you got a pair of the Kobe 6s and you're going to pick them up at the store and you see this dope-ass shirt that would go with those Kobe's. You're not going to buy that? You see this hat that would go with it. You're not going to buy that? Come on, man. Jeans or whatever else they sell. Joggers. Come on, man. See, I will focus my whole store on that. All right, what are the releases? Okay, cool. How can we curate outfits to go along with these releases so that when people walk in, they see it on a mannequin and therefore they visually see it on themselves? Like, no, man, come on, man. Let me stop talking before I give away all the game for free, bro. I'm giving $1 million game for free. Giganto, there's a company that works for that sells phones. Won't say which, but the pickup table is located right next to the accessory wall for a reason. There you go. There you go. Man, come on, man. There's a strategy to this, man. There's a science to this shit, but, like I said, man, I don't know nothing. I'm just a humble podcaster. Giganto, GOAT drop off with GOAT credit being able to be used in store. GOAT credit in tandem with the raffle. Man, that's dog. See. There you go. But maybe they'll figure it out once Nike decides to go 100% direct to consumer, or even 90%. Like, they're already talking about going to 60%, which means that 40% of their sales are going to be wholesale, which means that that's going to be split between what? Foot Locker, Snipes, JD Sports. So you're not even getting all that 40%. You're getting what? Like what? 10 point what? 10 point like 13? I said 10 point what? Like what? 13 point what percent of that? So you're getting 13%. You done went from what? I don't know what the biggest market share they had as far as wholesale sales, but being squeezed down to 13% of Nike product. And let's be honest, Nike is what brings a lot of people to these stores. If they was to lose Nike, that's you know, if you know anything about like a mall or anything about a strip mall, they have what they call anchor stores. Anchor stores are those big stores, the big name stores that bring people to the strip malls, right, or to the mall, and then as that, you know, you show up for that particular store, but while you're there, you might see another store that you might want to walk into. Once again, it's all about enticing people to get there. And once you get them there, they might fuck around and buy other product. They might fuck around and go into one of the other many stores outside of that big box store or that anchor store that initially got them there. Nike is what the equivalent to that. Nike is the if Foot Locker was a strip mall, Nike would definitely be their anchor store. It just is what it is. And so if you lose your anchor store, I mean, that's like the death of most strip malls. Like once they lose their anchor store, it's a wrap. There's no more foot traffic. So anyway, I've done enough ranting for today. This is what? May 3rd, Tuesday, May 3rd. It is a gloomy day here in Michigan, but I hope it's a great day where you're at. Hopefully I get my Kobe's tomorrow. Real quick, Sneaker Shop Talk, they could partner with some of these brands that make shirts specifically for these higher profile releases. See, once again, free game. But anyway, hope you guys have a great day today. I'm supposed to hang out with the people from Penso, so looking forward to that. And yeah, hopefully the weather breaks and is nice enough going forward to where I can start pulling out some of my nicer shoes. But until then, I will see you guys tomorrow. Definitely going to get more into this direct-to-consumer. Definitely some other news as well. Until then, I see y'all. Be safe. I'm out. Peace.